Good afternoon, it's Seconder Scott Von Helt from HolisticMusician.com here to share today's bowl of Saki by Hazrat Inayat Khan for April the 27th. To make God a reality is the real object of worship. To make God a reality is the real object of worship. So I don't know, a couple thoughts come to mind when I hear this. To make God a reality, what does it really mean to make God a reality? And God is something that we can't touch or see, or it's not a person that we can call on the phone or talk to, or that we've seen. You go to church and you see that person standing there in front of you, that kind of thing. It's much, God is much more abstract, I guess is a way to say it. So how do we make that a reality for ourselves? And it has to, for me, I feel it has to come through experience. It has to come through some experience or some occurrence in your life that happens that makes you feel that connection to that spiritual being, that creative force, that creator. And when you have that experience and it's so undeniable for you, then then it's reality. Then it becomes real. I grew up in a Christian home, and we weren't ever taught that Jesus or God lives in a cloud and all those kinds of things, but everything was about Jesus and Christ and following Christ. And I always was like, well, that's great, you go through the Son to get to the Father, but what aren't we praising the Father? Why are we praising the Son? And I always felt like we were just like missing a step there, but to make God a reality is to have that experience where you're really experiencing that reality of God for yourself. And it can happen in a lot of ways. It can happen in, just a scene in nature, or something that happens, an experience in your life where just something touches you so deeply that it comes from a higher place. It comes from somewhere beyond, physical, tangible stuff. It's something much more, much deeper, much richer, much fuller. And that experience, it becomes real for you, and that makes God real for you. So to make God a reality is the real object of worship. So when you worship something, what's the object of your worship? There has to be some focus. When I say object, I don't mean idol or what statue or what physical thing do you bow at or worship to. And if you do, I'm not knocking that either. But the object of your worship becomes the thing that you call out to, the thing that you reach to in that moment of prayer or in that act of worship. So when I'm out in nature, that to me, that's like church. When I get out there, I feel the magnetism of the earth. I feel the energy of the plants, the things around me. I just really feel that. It's a tangible essence that's in the air as I'm on a trail somewhere. And just my connection and beauty, my love for the connection to the beauty of nature alone. And going out, seeing hawks, seeing snakes, seeing lizards, all these things that I like, that are fun for me, that all adds to it too. But just being in that presence of nature alone, to me, is an experience of experiencing something real and tangible, that I can see, that is tangible, that I know comes from something much more. When you think of those plants, they came from a seed. And you think of that whole huge tree once was that little seed, and that the essence of that tree, that the fruit of that, came from that little seed, and how it grew and evolved and it expanded over time and so forth. All of that just really, to me, is just it's awe-stricken. I sit back and go, this is crazy that this is how the Creator made things so perfect. So I mean, that's just one example, nature. But any experience that makes God real for you, and having that feeling and that reality of that in your heart, when you give praise to that, when you give thanks to that, when you worship that feeling, even you can even worship that feeling to where I love this feeling of being so connected to nature, and I know that I'm connected to God through nature, and I'm just going to really go with you know, praising and saying thank you for this feeling, and really just enjoying it. And I'm just gonna let it soak it in, and really just really praise this moment. I mean, that's what life's all about. When you can find those little moments and those little nuances that bring you to a higher place, and you can connect with that and make it a reality for yourself, to make God reality for yourself. That's what it's all about. I don't think about, you know, God being some guy up in a cloud, you know, wearing a robe with a big white beard that's, you know, got a big old, you know, satchel full of lightning bolts ready to strike you if you do something wrong. That's an old school mentality that I can't vibe with myself personally. But you know, I've really learned over the years to make God a reality by really taking those experiences and those realities of God's creation, God's love, God's just, you know, the grace that's come to my life. I take those things, hold them, and that's the object of worship in that moment for me. So just a couple thoughts on today's bowl of Saki. Hope everybody has a great day. We're off to our Sufi class tonight in Burbank. So much love and blessings to all of you. And you can get more bowl of Saki at my website, holisticmusician.com, or over at this YouTube page as well. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll be back tomorrow.